All right, we are going to be jumping into the Bitcoin price action here today live for an emergency live stream because, well, we got a massive dump. Big apologies to calling the low. I should never do that, really. It's all just probabilities at the end of the day, and that's why I've been saying if we lost that 64,500 region and it wasn't just a swing failure pattern, things would get pretty dicey and we could potentially fall like we did today. But what we're seeing on the charts isn't too bad. We're seeing a lot of buyers step in here on Binance. That's what you're looking at right now as your main view. This is trading light, and you're seeing thousands of Bitcoin being scooped up in limit long positions. That's what we just saw get filled, actually. This wall down here got a perfect pixel bottom entry on that. I pulled the fibs, swing low, swing high. We did not even come back to test the golden pocket. So we'll want to be watching this, right? I'm going to keep pulling these fibs during the stream. Let me go ahead and actually move it like this, so we got some room to the right there. But yeah, we'll be watching these fibs to make sure we're not breaking this golden pocket, and this certainly could be your low down here. Price did go ahead and sweep a big level. That $60,000 level was a previous low, right? A liquidity level from way back over there. It's actually easier if I go ahead and hold this up on, let's see here, not that, let's do CoinGlass. Like put it over here because I know the screen is showing order flow on the right, and that's what you're seeing on the right. I guess I'll cover that real quick. This is Binance order flow, the open interest, CVD, net longs versus net shorts at the bottom here, and then at the top you are seeing the US dollar, and then right below that is the S&P 500. So we'll be watching all of this stuff today in the stream. What I wanted to look at real quick was our liquidity maps. You can see that we have grabbed pretty much everything on the 3-day. Let's jump out here to the 6-month though. That's what I wanted to look at, because we can see those previous lows that I was talking about from, actually we probably don't even need to do 6 months, let's do 3 months there. Also, let me know in the stream chat if the audio is good. Let me know if the music's too loud or anything like that. These are the previous lows. Back here you can see right at around 60,000, right above 60,000. We went ahead, swept that, grabbed all of this liquidity. So could we do a full rotation now all the way up to 75K? Definitely possible, right? We'll cover all of the possible scenarios, what's most likely to happen here on Bitcoin now. And while certainly I have flipped a little bit more bearish because we have broken market structure, it doesn't look like we're going to be, you know, sending into $100,000 plus unless it is going to play out like a normal cycle, which I've been saying in, you know, my YouTube videos consistently from the beginning, that I do expect 2025 not to be as bullish as people imagine because of recessionary indicators that point towards a big crash happening when or soon after the Fed does cut, which is predicted for September. So, you know, probably have a push up on markets. You know, they'll prop the markets up for election season, all of that good stuff. You know, if Trump were to get elected, I know a lot of people think that the economy is going to bounce back with him. So, you know, that could be a catalyst for markets topping out around election season, but that's all it will be. It's kind of just extra liquidity. I think the top would come in on that election. I don't think we're going to be seeing bullish continuation into 2025. I think, you know, it's going to wrong foot a lot of people that are expecting that. But is it time to panic sell? Absolutely not. We'll get into all of that. But you can see liquidity maps here. We did go ahead and grab that. If we looked at our let's go to the yearly, because we checked that out in my latest video talking about how if we were to get down to some of these levels, we could start magneting down to 50K, and we're not quite there yet, right? If we were to lose this previous low all the way down at like 56, which is a possibility, right? We're getting to some levels that could start bringing us down there, right? We don't have the bullish structure that's just, you know, makes it more likely to go ahead and squeeze on up. But as long as we can hold here, you can see this liquidity node, you know, made sense to grab, I guess, and then we can go ahead and rotate back up. But we want to see a good close on this week's candle, and that's the good thing. It's Monday, so we got a lot of time to wick price up on the week and turn this all into a big deviation. So if we can close above 63,000 by the end of the week, I will be more optimistic, right? I still think most likely case right now, if we were to break all-time highs, is going to be, you know, the fact that we're still in distribution, and we could easily see, you know, that wrong foot a lot of people because they'll see the break of all-time highs and buy back in, and then that's when the market finally tops out and crashes, probably around when the ETH ETF drops. Let me go ahead and get this screen proper right there, and then let me check the stream chat to see what you guys are saying in there. Turn the music off, bro. Okay, is it that loud? Oh fuck it, that is loud actually. I am sorry, I should have checked that earlier before rambling on there, but hopefully the volume's good. Now I turned the music way down. I can turn it off too if you really want, but then you might hear some just ambient background noise. I actually have music on all of my videos that I post, but it's such a, low volume in the background that you really can't even notice it. Music is fine. Okay, cool. At least you could hear me when I was saying that, but I did go ahead and turn it down. Missed the scoop by $5. You might get another chance here. We'll see. This is definitely an area where you're looking to potentially take longs, as long as you know what you're doing, right? I never recommend leveraging if you don't know what you're doing, but if you do, I'm definitely doing that as well. Tight stops, right? Tight stops, clear invalidations. It's all probabilities. Is Monday usually bad? Actually, no. Historically, Monday is the most bullish month for Bitcoin. We can actually, I mean, I don't have like super hard data on this. I just know from, somewhat from experience. And then if we do look over here on CoinInc, which is an awesome free software, go ahead and check this out if you are interested. But actually, no, it's not CoinInc. Never mind. I'm wrong. CoinInc's still an awesome free software. It's Velo data. So we were to pull up Velo data here and go to, where's this going to be? Just market, I think. Thought it was here. Am I just missing it? Maybe it's not in markets. Maybe it's in something else. Futures. Yes. So we can go to the yearly average return from Bitcoin. Monday. Average of 1% return on Mondays for Bitcoin. So yeah, you can see here, these are the, historical days of price action for Bitcoin. I don't know how accurate this is, but I do know Monday is, usually can be a bullish day because that's when markets are opening and Bitcoin likes to flush a lot of people out during the weekends. So makes sense. And speaking of like markets being opened and it being Monday, we did talk about in my last video. Let me actually duplicate this trading view so I can pull this up on the screen over here for you guys. This is not going to want to duplicate. Okay, I guess I'll just do this. So what we'll do is we'll go to, let's just do USDT.p on BingX, get the futures contracts there. So we'll do that, and then we'll do CME. And we can also talk about this circle that I drew out here, what this is all about. So I did post in the Discord last night. I was posting a lot in there about like this dump, what to be watching out for. Like, is it all over? And why you shouldn't panic sell now, but you definitely got to be staying more vigilant in the markets because these highs right here on CME were actually clean. If you look at Binance, we had poor highs within here, and this was the reasoning in my videos for me not being like bearish and just saying continually that the low is in, is because we had these poor highs up here. I thought for sure they were going to grab this. Right, wicks at the same level. That creates a lot of liquidity up there. So I thought for sure we were going to go grab this, but you can see here on CME, we actually already grabbed it. You can see we cleaned out this previous high right there before dumping. So because CME does have a good amount of volume, right? Chicago Mercantile Exchange, they're like the TradFi futures in Bitcoin. So because they swept, could have been a warning sign that, hey, we didn't actually need to go up any higher. But we still have big liquidity, like above all of these highs, right? We didn't grab everything, so that's why I'm saying upthrust after distribution. Yeah, that's still a big possibility right now for sure, very likely. What I was gonna say though is CME with the markets being open Monday. We can see here if we go to an hourly time frame, it's not the biggest gap in the world, but we do have a CME gap up here. So yeah, likely for price to come back up here, and this is the level to be watching for. This is actually a big volume level, and stuff like that. If we were to pull a fixed range of everything up here, and I should probably switch the stream to this real quick so you can actually see everything. This is like my main recording screen, but if we do go ahead and pull a fixed range of this whole thing, you see that value area low is sitting all the way down here now. This was actually sitting a little higher before the dump, but yeah, we got big volume levels all within this range. Like previous months, value area low is all the way up here with a bunch of imbalances in the chart. So I kind of do expect this level to be targeted, like no matter what, like no matter how bearish Bitcoin is. Like absolute worst case scenario, with what Bitcoin dominance is doing right now, which we'll go over, I think you're going to see this. And I think you're going to see a lot of euphoria return in the markets here, especially in your altcoins. I do think altcoins could have a massive rally, even if like this is all that happens, right? You know, we got the Ethereum ETF coming out soon. I think, you know, this high right here could be a euphoric time in the markets where risk on assets go kind of crazy. But this is the big level to be watching for. I'm not saying it's going to play out like that. It's possible we reject, you know, value area low of the new range now. I mean, I guess that's technically worst case scenario. And then there's also a real probability we go ahead and just Wyckoff upthrust after distribution. And that's your final top. So those are the two things that I think are kind of most probable right now. Something like this, and then that's your final top. You know, is it kind of like, is there a chance we're going to go to $100,000 plus like everybody wants? And while I think it's kind of hopium at this point, sure, they're still on the card, just not impossible. Like anything's possible in the market, so I don't want to rule that out completely. But we would need continuation from the S&P if that were to happen. If it were to be a normal cycle where the top comes in 2025, we need the S&P to follow along. And you know, you can see if we go ahead and switch it back to that other view that I had. Just like this, you can see S&P is right here up in the top right there. If we go ahead and zoom out on this thing on a weekly time frame, I mean, this thing's a parabola. These parabolas don't last forever. It's a macro parabola too. I mean, this thing's been going up pretty vertical here throughout the entire existence of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin was made after 2008, the 2008 Great Financial Crisis. It has never gone through a recession. I think a lot of people are discounting the fact that Bitcoin has never gone through a recession, and that's kind of the reason it's been up only this entire time. If we were to enter a recession or possibly even depression, which I think is possible with unemployment, with where interest rates are at, with a lot of, you know, macroeconomic factors, you just look at like the Somro indicator and where that's at, the inverted yield curve, stuff like that. Inflation, right? They're going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place trying to deal with inflation and unemployment at the same time. We could see, you know, a complete reversal here on the S&P to go all the way back to the levels we were at during 2008. And that's something Bitcoin's never seen before. And we know what happened back in 2022, right? January 2022. I mean, Bitcoin did not perform well while the stock market was going down, and it bottomed when the markets were bottomed, and it went up when the markets went up. So it clearly acts as a risk on asset. It's actually most correlated with Apple, if you didn't know that. Well, at least recently it has been. But yeah, it correlates as a tech stock essentially. So if the markets go down, which is a real possibility here going into 2025, yeah, just be watching out for that. But if the S&P were to continue up here through 2025, you know, if it is able to kind of maybe have a bigger correction now along with Bitcoin, and then, you know, going on for a later parabola into 2025, yeah, sure, that's definitely a possibility. But that's just what I'm seeing on the charts so far. We'll go over Bitcoin dominance and stuff, but real quick, I want to jump into, also, these are poor lows here on the S&P, so I want to see if this stuff can get swept, you know, during the stream or something like that. If this can get swept and reclaim showing strength in the market, that it has cleaned out the lows. That's something I'll be watching for. Let me get into the stream chat though. What are you guys saying? I mean, I'm going to try to make sure I read everything in the stream, but it's definitely going to be delayed because I've been talking a lot. So let me get through these, and then I'll try to keep up with the stream chat throughout the video. But let's see here. Talked about Monday. Bitcoin acting like a crippled handicap feels bad. Yeah, it'd be that way. I mean, if you were here in late 2023, you know, it was the complete opposite, right? The Bitcoin was just destroying the S&P in gains, but you know, now that we've gotten towards the highs, Bitcoin has kind of entered distribution while the S&P has continued to rally, which historically kind of does happen when you're near the top for Bitcoin. The S&P will make a secondary high while Bitcoin distributes. So could be a warning sign that this is actually the top on Bitcoin. But like I said, it's not time to panic or anything like that. Left transactions still on, in your opinion? Yeah, so basically, if this is a left translated cycle, it's possible like this was the left translation. Like this was our bull run, and it topped out in March of 2024, and that's just how left translated we were. On a cycle basis, you could say, or fractal basis, you could say this correction here is this correction here, and then this distribution is this distribution, right? It looks somewhat similar. I would argue that this correction in here looks more like this. This is what I'd been looking at, right? And then we are in this stage right now. But at this point, I think we've kind of deviated it. This was my original case, right? And that's why I was so bullish. Like, hey, I thought we were just kind of mirroring, fractaling this. I gotta switch it back to this. I keep forgetting that I have order flow on the right. There's 3 dots, right? I don't know if you saw this earlier, but when I was drawing these, I'm comparing it to this price action here on the market, right? So, you know, I was expecting we were here, right, where that arrow was pointing. But because we have pulling back, you know, changing market structure, I no longer think this is where we are in the market. I think it's more likely we are here somewhere, right? It doesn't mean that we're already topped, but I do think we're in distribution. So either one more upthrust after distribution or roll. But it's not the end of the world, because if you study last cycle, a lot of stuff went crazy during this time period. Look at Shiba. Look at a lot of your meme coins. Look at something like XRP. It continued its rally into there. So, and that's something that like I've been looking at that makes me not think the top is in, is your altcoin market. Historically, we see alts run while Bitcoin's in distribution. We just haven't seen that. But we do have a different macroeconomic situation. Like I was talking about, the Fed has high interest rates right now, which historically it does not have during bull markets. The only time we've seen that in Bitcoin, going into a hiking cycle and then topping out at a pausing cycle, was during the 2019 rally. So if we are fractaling something like the 2019 rally, which, gotta be honest, it's very possible, right? This could just be a big bear market rally that is throwing people off guard because we broke all-time highs, just like the high right here threw a lot of people off guard because they said there's no way that's the top because we just made an all-time high. There's no way that we're going to continue up here, right? That's not a bear market rally. Well, that did in fact mean the top. So could it be just a bear market rally, and that's why there's no expansion into risk on assets, and this is in fact the top? I think it's possible, right? A lot of things to consider. Let me continue in the chat here. My target on my TA is 86.5K. Definitely possible. I will say though, if it is just an upthrust after distribution, right? Historically, these will throw a lot of people off because we'll break all-time highs, and they'll think 80K. This will be everyone's target. We're going to 80K. This is what every YouTube channel will be saying. Maybe we top out at 80 to 85,000, but they're all going to be calling for 80K plus. And then this happens. I'd be watching this area right here. $75,000 to $80,000 is an area to be watching because we don't really have any liquidity to grab past that. If we go back to our liquidation maps here, jump out to the 6 month. The liquidity stops at around 76K. So for us to squeeze up to 80K plus, while it's definitely possible, it won't just happen like during a short squeeze or something like that. You're going to need actual buying pressure at those levels. And if it truly is an upthrust after distribution, all it would be would be a short squeeze, right? RSI is super oversold. I'd be cautious, thinking about RSI in that way. I use RSI for divergences. I think it's really good for divergences. But just because we're oversold doesn't mean much in my opinion. You'll notice on my RSI, I don't even have those levels, right? I think it's the 70 and the 30 are the levels in which retail thinks something's oversold or overbought. If you look at when Bitcoin gets bullish, I mean, it doesn't care that we're oversold, especially like on higher time frames. Like if we go to a weekly here, I mean, we were mega oversold throughout all of this. And Bitcoin, I guess this would be a better representation of where oversold was. Bitcoin just continued to rip up even though we were oversold on RSI or overbought on RSI. When we enter, the bear market, you get super oversold here, and RSI actually comes up while you go lower, and that's the bullish divergence I was talking about, right? So I don't think RSI going up or going down means much unless it is a divergence with price. So if it's oversold, a lot of times that actually means it's more bearish. It just means there's a lot of selling pressure. But do we have a divergence right now? Absolutely. If we go to the daily time frame, and let me actually change this. Let's go back to normal Bitcoin, not CME. And then what is this on? Is this, yeah, that's monthly. Okay, cool. We see price is making a higher low. RSI is making a lower low. So we have a hidden bullish divergence there on the daily time frame. Some of the Discord said we had it on like 3 day as well. So yeah, we have it on our 2 day and our 3 day as well. So we got that hidden bullish divergence there on the RSI. So that's what I think is bullish when looking at this indicator. So you're thinking a big possibility 65K is the top. Well, I mean, we went to 74K, so I'd say 74K could potentially be the top. But yeah, you're saying if we go like on this, like momentarily retrace to like 64K and that could be the top. Yeah, I mean, possible, right? I'm going to take it day by day, right? I'm not trying to predict the future here. And if we can wick up above these levels on our weekly candle and just turn this into a deviation, then this could get flipped into support and we go up for all-time highs, for sure. And this could get flipped into support and we go to $100,000. Got to take it day by day, but we'll be watching. So if we do squeeze up to $74,000, $75,000, how am I going to know if that's bearish or bullish? Is open interest going down or up? If open interest is doing nothing but falling during this rally, then I know it's a short squeeze, which historically would be a upthrust after distribution. If open interest is going up while we're making the up move, well, that shows there's buying pressure. So that's something we can kind of go on a day by day basis of to figure out what's going to happen, and that applies to the 64K level too. If I see open interest going up while we're coming to 64K, we could flip this stuff into support. If open interest is mega decreasing when we go up here and all it is just squeezing out all of these bottom shorters, then we could just see a quick wick through, failed auction, and yeah, it could just be something like that where we do roll over it at 64K. So we'll take it day by day. So far, on like an open interest basis, you can see over here on the right, this order flow I was talking about, or well, that I've had over here. You see these massive red candles throughout here on this top layer. This is open interest coming down, and that shows that we finally squeezed all the longs. You would notice like throughout this entire downtrend, the longs weren't really getting squeezed all too much. They certainly were here. Like we were closing out up in this area, but once we made this a low after 64.5, like you weren't really grabbing much liquidity. That's why I'd said like these lows are bad. I want to grab that and then head on up with haste. We did grab it, and I did actually attempt a long in this area, but we just had very small decrease on open interest. So that could have been your warning sign that like, hey, this wasn't going to be your low, and we were going to cascade down until we did close out all those longs. What's nice is, I mean, you see a lot of bottom shorters after we close out this first layer of longs, and you're continuing to see bottom shorters. So we still got that momentum to the upside, and I think if we start squeezing those shorts, I mean, there were so many shorts open throughout this entire trend down, especially if we're looking at Bybit over here. You see, throughout this entire trend, there's just a whole bunch of shorts being opened near the lows, right? Above 64K. So since a lot of those shorts were opened above 64K, I think if we squeeze up there, there's a good chance we don't flip that into resistance, and we do just continue to squeeze those shorts up to all-time highs, because that would make sense on a liquidity basis. Let's see what you guys are saying. Core shorts can't keep getting away with this. Yeah, that's true. They cannot. They will eventually get squeezed. Right? What do you think about negative ETF outflows? I know a lot of people talk about the ETF outflows, all that stuff. I don't care too much about ETF outflows, although it's certainly not helping. Right? I don't think it means that we can't go up here, but I would actually be more worried about your big wallet selling. If you look at that chart, you can find it on Glassnode and stuff like that. Like, big wallets have been selling at these highs like they were selling last time we were at these levels back in 2021. So yeah, I mean, there is a lot of selling pressure up here, and I think there is more spot selling pressure than the spot buying pressure, because retail just doesn't have as much money right now, as we talked about, with economic factors like the Fed having high interest rates and unemployment being high. So because of that, yeah, I think ETF outflows are, they're not helping for sure. I don't think it means anything more than that. Like, it's not a deciding factor, right? We could easily just squeeze on up 74K, and who cares about the outflows when you're squeezing all those shorts? But yeah, it's certainly not helping. Have you ever considered use the accumulation distribution indicator? I mean, I can probably pull it up. Let's see here. Accumulation distribution. I think I have max indicators already. Let me remove something. Get out of here, market cipher. So, how does this work? Is the higher the number, the more distribution, or more accumulation? I'm assuming going down means there's distribution and that sort of thing. I don't know. It seems like it just follows price. Actually, no, it doesn't. There's divergence here. Okay. Yeah, you can see there's buying pressure when we come down. Divergence here. Whereas when we make these secondary highs, selling pressure with price. No more divergence. So I don't know how accurate this indicator is, but yeah, you can definitely see there is a lot more selling pressure on this move down than this move here, right? People were buying this up because they were looking on a fractal basis like me, and we're like, hey, we're probably here. Probably going to see the second half of the rally. But then we failed to claim all-time highs, and we started rolling, and they know this deviates cycles, so we don't see that buying pressure. Again, I'm not too sure how accurate this indicator is, but yeah, it doesn't look great looking at this thing. So yeah, glad you brought that up. I'll keep my eye on it, look into it a bit more, because I'm not sure what these numbers mean. Obviously, we see like 36 million here on the right. I don't know if this is, weekly buying pressure, just like volume based. I don't really know what it's based on. So, but yeah, it's not helping our case. Let's see what we got in the chat. Check Bitcoin dominance weekly. Yes, I wanted to cover Bitcoin dominance. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Let me duplicate this. This is bullish, okay? It's not bullish for Bitcoin. It's bullish for altcoins, okay? That's why I haven't sold anything, I think. Oh, it's altcoin season. Many people are going to get shaken out by this dump. And even if I'm right and we don't make all-time highs, or even if I'm right and we don't, go to $100,000, we just have up there after distribution. As I've talked about in my previous videos, when altcoins go, they go fast, and they don't need Bitcoin to move very far. And with Bitcoin dominance getting under the daily EMA, that's a sign of a true reversal. You see this trend of highs within here. You have a nice deviation to the upside, creating a nice wick that sweeps this previous high. Not that sweeping anything matters on Bitcoin dominance, like you can't leverage this thing, but we do see that. And then we see us breaking through the daily EMA, continuing this downtrend, filling these vectors. I think there's a good chance this hunts all the way down to the lows down here, but this time is a little different, right? I don't like saying that term, but we do have ETFs now, so Bitcoin could just hold strength, and we want to be watching for this trend that we have respected. So while I do think there's going to be an altcoin season, we got to be seeing if it's just a short-lived altcoin season when Bitcoin goes to 64K and then reverses, or if we are going to actually break trend, Bitcoin's going to go for upburst after distribution, and you're going to see mass euphoria and the altcoin market just rip to the upside before that final top does come in. TA on Mog, please. Gotta say, if there's one redeeming factor about what's going on right now, it's that it truly is a Mog market. I'm not saying to buy Mog, obviously. We're like, buying Mog down here was the move, but we have pumped up. We are at resistance. It looks like we're going to break the resistance, but yeah, I don't want to say to buy now, but like I was saying, we saw Sheeb fire off at the last second before the music stopped. All that smart money went. I know we can still get gains. We can still earn yield out of retail, because we got a great meme here, and if we pump it to billions, we're going to find extra liquidity just based on how funny the meme is, and I think that's something we could be seeing here with Mog. We could just fire off here into all-time highs, but I will say, I mean, you see this downtrend that I have on the charts. We're at resistance right now, so yeah, until this gets broken, be very cautious. If we were to break this, flip it into support, yeah, that would look a lot better for a buy. Right now, it's pretty sketchy. But I love me some Mog. You see here on the daily time frame, we were talking about daily hidden bullish divergences. Nice hidden daily bullish divergence right there. So yeah, we'll see. Perfect backtest at this daily EMA value area low. Your target would be all-time highs once again. So I'll be watching this thing. Let's see if we can, have another failed kind of auction of the highs, or if we're going to multiple billions. I think both scenarios are very likely. So I'm not selling here, but you could be selling here if you wanted to. Like, this might be a time to sell, not buy. This looks bad. The fact influencers keep buying the dip worries me. Yep. I would say buying the dip. Let me go back to trading view. Not that. buying the dip here made a lot of sense. Right? Continuing to be bullish throughout here made a lot of sense. Buying the dip here made sense. We were seeing a lot of decent order flow, a lot of possibilities for shorts to get squeezed. And this was fractally correct, right? We weren't really deviating cycles with any of this, but like I had said, the 64.5 was our last line of support, and if we were to lose this level, I wasn't just gonna stay bullish the whole time. I tried keeping some bullish sentiment in my videos, even when we broke this. I was saying, yeah, deviation is probably possible. We're seeing a lot of shorts open. Binance is shorting the lows, which they haven't been, so there's a good chance they get trapped. But that was just hopium from me, pretty much hoping that this wasn't going to flip into resistance. It should have been obvious. Like this really should have held. This deviation down here should have been a warning sign. We went ahead, flipped these lows back into resistance. That should have been your warning sign. The fact that this couldn't hold just showed the falling knife was imminent. But we've seen altcoins hold up strong, and I think that's what most people hold anyway, so I don't think you should have been too wrong-footed from just holding right here. I still don't think it was a bad choice to just hold, right? Because the altcoin season's still ahead of us, right? We're going to have that altcoin season, at least a short-lived one, before the music stops and the market rolls over. Even if it is just something like that, you're going to see euphoria resume. I guarantee you. When that ETF launches, you're going to see euphoria resume in the markets. But yeah, people calling for the dip to be bought up even down to $50,000. That's crazy to me. If you think we can go to $50,000 and that be a bullish correction, and for us to just go to 500K after that, what are you smoking? We don't do that in a bull market. Maybe you probably think we're like here in that scenario. Like, yeah, I mean, we could have another one of these. I'm not rolling that out of the equation. But, I mean, people aren't saying this is where we are in the cycle. They're saying we're here. Which, if we're here, you don't drop back down to 50K and make new lows like this. And, like I said, once again, macroeconomic recessionary indicators do not point towards 2025 being a bullish year. Pray that 49 to 52 holds. I pray we don't get down there. If we get down to 49.52, it's already over. We have lost everything at that point. And, I mean, yeah, you could pray you get some sort of retrace in here. I think that's possible. But if we get down here, it's over. In my opinion. Anything's possible. It's crypto, right? I think this needs to hold. This needs to hold for us to have a chance to get up to all-time highs again. Now, could you still see an altcoin season if we squeeze down here? I mean, yeah, it's possible. You have your altcoin season here. So we'll see. Anything's possible. How is it possible that price can go up but open interest goes down? Longs are closing. So if you are squeezing longs, open interest will decrease while price goes down. And you also have to realize there are many exchanges where open interest can take place. So you could have one exchange where they're shorting. I can give you an example of that. Looking over here on Binance. And I know you can't actually see the price action. Okay, you know what? This is a bad area to do this. Let me pull it over here. So we see here on Binance, we're looking at hourly candles now. So this is all the way up at like 72K. You see open interest is decreasing throughout this move down. Net longs are going down. This is a longs closing, and that's what's happening on Binance. If we look at Bybit, we see throughout the same downtrend, open interest is going up. Shorts are opening. CVD going down, open interest going up, shorts are opening. Versus Binance closing, right? So that's how open interest works. And if they're closing, that's actually bullish. You want longs closing at the lows to show that it's just capitulations in the market and not selling pressure. How did my music stop? Video pause, continue watching, yeah. Play this. Alright. See if we got any more questions in here. I'm sure we do. Could you go over real quick what you think at Trading Light? Okay, wait, hold up. Can you go over real quick what you look at on Trading Light and the point of interest? Yes. Do you mean... I was thinking point of control at first, but yes, point of interest is in like where I think support is going to be found. And you probably saw at the beginning of the live stream, a lot of these walls were getting filled. This is a big point of interest. We have literal buying pressure in the order books. Thousands of Bitcoin and limit long positions. This is at a sweep level. So, let me jump out here to the hourly. It might take a second to load. Actually, no, it's loading pretty quick. If we go ahead and look at what sweep level I'm talking about, this is your low. Single prints, previous single prints, imbalances, below a sweep level. Lots of liquidity behind all of these lows. Perfect grab. This is my level of interest. So yeah, there's a reason there's a lot of buyers down here. This is a big level to hold. This is a good low too. You can see we cleaned it out. So yeah, if you like, this is the level. This is why I got the fibs pulled here. Long. Maybe. Stop. That's the most important part. If you are going to do anything here. Long here. Stop here. But really, usually if it's like ultra bullish, you don't even want to get to golden pocket. So we could just hold here or here. Front run the golden pocket. Front run all these buyers. That happens a lot. But I don't want to say the long or anything like that. You got to know what you're doing. You got to have like your own confluences and know for yourself that you should long. If you're just longing because I told you to, you're gonna somehow lose money. Even if I'm making money, right? Like you're gonna do something to mess it up because you don't comprehend like everything that's going on. Rather, you know, you shouldn't be taking it because what order flow is doing, or you know, just a lot of reasons you don't just trade because someone told you it's a good area to trade. There's a very solid chance this gets swept. Secondary sweep on like an hourly bull div or something. Oh, anything above 1 is accumulation, still strong accumulation, no distribution. Okay, let's look at that again then. So maybe I was wrong. What am I doing? Anything above 1. Okay, I gotta take out this again. Anything above 1. Is this the right indicator? Is this the wrong? Because I'm seeing millions over here on the right, not like a one line. I don't see it in the settings either. There's no one line. Yeah, I mean that's the main one. So I don't know. Let me know if it's a different indicator or something. TA on AVAX. Probably not going to be doing too many altcoins today. Let me get through the rest of the chats and I might cover some altcoins at the end of the video. Like I said, I think Bitcoin dominance going down, all your altcoins are going to hold up better than Bitcoin and could have a pretty decent altcoin season on any retraces that we have in here. DXY is dumping. And yeah, no, that's another bullish thing. We want to see this continue to dump, though. Nothing's really too confirmed yet. So DXY up here at the top right. Yeah, certainly has been coming down if we look at the daily time frame. This is the trend I've been looking to make sure we don't break. We've not broken it. We're coming down here. So we just want to see lower lows now. We still have higher lows. If we can make a lower low on the daily time frame and get down here, if we can get under this thing, oh, let's go. That's one of your cases where Bitcoin could go crazy. If the dollar gets under this thing and the S&P just goes full parabolic into a massive blow off top, Bitcoin could go crazy here quickly. Yeah, it could go to six figures just fast, but it wouldn't be 2025, right? It would be just parabola for the next couple months. Definitely possible. We'll be watching the dollar closely, but this is still big support, so be watching for something like that to play out. Long at 59,850, liquidation 58.2. No way. Do not trade like that. Please do not trade like that unless you have done it before, backtested it, and understand that it is a profitable strategy. You should be trading with very tight stops. So like I pulled this fib here. You're entering right now. Your stop is right there. Your risk on this thing is 0.5% on Bitcoin. And that's even like more than I would want. Like you really want under 0.5% risk. Just according to my strategy, right? There's different ways to trade. You can make money doing whatever. But this is what I would do. Something like this, take it up to the single prints. I'm actually already in a long. So I got stopped out a couple times in this downtrend. I got stopped out once at a loss, once at entry. I'm now in a position from 59,720. I got pixel bottom because I just limited in with the whale. That's something you can do. You know, you see big whales in the order books. I just limited in with this guy. My stop's already at entry for the position. But yeah, I mean, try to enter on places. First of all, never blind limit. Never just put in limits blindly. That's always ends bad in my experience. Wait for some sort of swing fail patterns, structural edge with a clear invalidation, and then know what your risk versus reward is and the probabilities of it playing out. If you don't have those two components, it's almost impossible to be trading because you're essentially just going to be going off of feeling and hope, which is not what you want to do. And you said liquidation price is at this. You should never be using liquidation price as your stop because it'll actually stop out before you hit that liquidation and you'll lose the spread on that. So always put in a hard stop no matter what. And it should be at a clear invalidation. Never get liquidated. Going to 50. Hopefully not. What was that level I couldn't see? Well, what are you referring to? Let's see. I don't know. Doesn't look like a lot of support at 60K either. There's not, right? The support was at 64.5. Losing that is not the best sign. But they're not going to let the shorts get away with it, right? We're going to retrace. And if we can turn it into a deviation and get back above 64.5, get above 63, get back within the range, then this could all just be a bad dream, a big deviation to the downside. But it does show a sign of weakness. This is all a sign of weakness in here. The fact we're not just instantly bumping, massive sign of weakness, shows me that we're near the top, if not already topped on Bitcoin. I think the Saudis dropping the dollar has an impact. I'm sure it does, but it's not something you can like calculate or time. You have no idea when that's going to take effect, or if it does, and I wouldn't consider it as a deciding factor on what you're going to do with your positions or anything like that. Something to take note of, right? If you do see it, really, you just want to watch price action. Price tells the story. A lot of that stuff's going to be front run anyway. So if the Saudis are doing it, then people have known that that's a likely possibility, and they've been front running that. So by the time it happens, maybe you see the opposite. How bad is today? I got my life savings in odds. Same here. I'm right there with you. Luckily, I was buying in 2023 in the depths of the bear market, so I'm still up on my altcoin positions. So that's what you always want to be doing. It's nice not having to be down on positions even when we are, the cycle doesn't go in your favor. But Bitcoin dominance is falling. I think alts are going to continue to outperform Bitcoin, and I think even if Bitcoin does just retrace to $64,000 and we're already topped, you will see a small altcoin season until that ETH ETF. We got the Ethereum ETF, massive catalyst for euphoria in altcoins. Will it be a sell the news event? Probably, but will we rally into it? Also probably. Bitcoin just mogged my meme bags. Yeah, but mogged Bitcoin. That's why Mog is mogs all other coins. It's pretty cool, right? It didn't drop the dollar. They dropped the dollar monopoly. Yeah, we do have a pyramid scheme here going on in the U.S. Our currency is basically, it's like a snake eating itself by the tail. They just print and feed it in cycles, and it's a completely fake currency that really only has perceived value. So I do actually expect the dollar to collapse. Maybe not in the near future, but if we are going to have this depression type event, you'll see the markets collapse, you'll see the dollar strengthen, and then later on maybe, closer to 2030, dollar collapse is a real scary possibility, and is why it's always good to own gold and real estate. Let's say someone gave you $100,000. Are you doubling down on your thesis on altcoin season, or are you investing elsewhere? It's going all into Mogcoin. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it would probably go into altcoins, but it would go with a tight stop. Like I was saying with trading, how you always have a tight stop. If I were to enter with a big altcoin spot bag, I'd have a tight stop because we're getting to levels that have clear invalidations. And speaking of stops, I might get stopped out on this position. We'll see. My stop is at entry, and my entry is... Dang, I really got pixel bottom on this. This is my entry. My entry is this guy. I entered with him. And he's still in there, so maybe I could take out my stop and just put it below the wall. But I don't know. I think if we are testing this wall again, that's just going to create some poor lows. And it'll probably get swept. So, but okay, back to the $100,000 question. Yes, I would buy altcoins, but I'd buy stuff like XRP that historically goes later on in the market, has inherently less risk right now, and it would be with tight stops at clear invalidations, because it would be a good risk to reward play. I'm risking $10,000 to make $200,000 or $340,000. So yeah, just logically it makes sense on a good risk to reward play, even if it is, not a guarantee. Do you think big money will facilitate lower prices before the ETFs will start trading? No, I think they're going to pump it into the ETFs trading, and they're going to use it as exit liquidity. I don't think the ETFs are quite as bullish as people think. If smart money, big money wants to buy Bitcoin and ETH, they're going to do it without the ETF. They don't need the ETF to buy. I think a lot of people have the wrong idea about that. If you remember back at the bear market, Fidelity opened up, I think it was Fidelity or BlackRock, one of them opened up to their investors, spot Bitcoin buying at I think it was around $20,000, and that was open throughout Bitcoin going to 16K. They were buying the lows. They're not just buying when the ETF comes out. So if they bought the lows, they're probably going to distribute on the launch of the ETFs. They're going to be selling the highs. Unless it is truly like a long-term hold, right? There's always the scenario that this stuff is truly just not a risk on assets for them. It's more like gold, and it's a hedge for the hedge funds against the dollar. Which in that scenario, maybe it's. I mean, I still don't think they're going to be suppressing price to buy on the ETF launch, but maybe it's, still gives the case for a big super cycle here on Bitcoin, and we could have larger corrections, but still ultimately end up in this massive super cycle that goes to millions of dollars. But you've got to have the dollar at least massively devaluing for that catalyst. But yeah, no, I don't think they're dropping the price before the ETFs start trading. They didn't do that before. If you remember, go here on Bitcoin. Let's go to the daily time frame. Where did your Hong Kong ETF launch? Right up here at the Pico top. Not Pico top, but after a correction we rallied up, and then this is where the ETF launched. I think we could see a similar thing here, right? This is your correction, this is your retrace, ETF launches here, then we fall to lower lows. This is your correction, this is your retracement, ETF launches, and then it's over. Be watching for something like this. If this is where we end up when the ETH ETF launches, certainly could act just like the Hong Kong ETF, spot ETF for Bitcoin, right? And then the Grayscale ETF, when all the US companies went ahead and launched the ETF at the same time. When did that happen? It happened right here at the Pico top. And then we had Bitcoin falling to new lows before a continuation to the upside. So I think no matter what, the last two ETFs we saw were not immediately bullish on price action, and we rallied into them. So I fully expect the same thing. We're going to rally into the ETF and then fall afterwards. Could be different this time, but I wouldn't bet on this time being different. Dylan says, are we cooked? It's not time to panic, so I think structurally we're kind of cooked. It's not, and also I don't know what you mean by cooked. Cooked could either mean we're buying here. This is go time. It's altcoin season, or it could mean are we done for? I think both of those scenarios are true. We're kind of done for as far as hope for going for six figures, that sort of thing on Bitcoin. Although it's possible, we need to see this thing start getting up quick, right? We need to start going for all-time highs sooner rather than later. And I think more likely, it's more of just a retrace or upthrust after distribution before the top comes in. Altcoins are still good though. I think we're going to see altcoin season. You still think we'll have an altcoin season? I'm leaning towards a 50-50 at best. Okay, so like I've been saying, I think altcoin season is likely, but the question will be very short-lived. What even happened to begin with? Are we Yeah, it's not a guarantee because we looked at 2019. Altcoins never outperformed Bitcoin really throughout 2019, but we are seeing Bitcoin dominance fall pretty aggressively today. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's see. Altcoin was at a big resistance. I'm kind of curious there. Now we're still getting a big rejection. I want to see that get reclaimed. We're still holding it pretty good. I got a lot of money in Altcoin, so this is something I'm going to be watching closely. Most of my portfolio is in Mog. Not that yours should be. I bought it 10, $20 million market cap. So yeah, I would say I'm leaning pretty 50-50 on it. Probably more 60, 70, 30, something like that. I think we're probably going to have an altcoin season, even if it is short-lived, just because of that catalyst, the ETH ETF. If we don't see it by the ETH ETF, I'd say forget about it. It's probably over, but yeah, I mean, we've got a massive catalyst for an altcoin season, so especially if you're trying to get into some Ethereum plays like a layer 2 or a meme coin on Ethereum that's actually good. Yeah, I think we could see some gains to be made there. Very likely that we do see that. Back to $100,000 question. You mentioned XRP. What else would you get in considering the most recent price action you are seeing? I don't want to give away coins. Like I'm not an altcoin guy. Like I've done some research on them, right? I was accumulating in the bear market, and that's when I was looking for all my plays. But I'm no altcoin expert, and something like XRP, we have seen massively underperform. So I have no reason to believe it wouldn't underperform still. But you look at it historically when it does perform, it usually goes last. I'm betting on Mog, right? If it is going to be the sheep of this cycle, you did see sheep fire off at the last second, even when Bitcoin had made a lower high. It's going to be tricky to find what's going to go last. You're going to have to do your own research on that. Look at plays that you like, have good fundamentals, and then go ahead and look at what they did in 2021. When did they rally? Look at asset classes that rallied last. I think, AI is something that could go at the end. But like I said with Ethereum, maybe it's Ethereum plays are going to be what goes at the end because we got that Ethereum ETF. So I would say that's more of a surefire bet. Any Ethereum plays, layer 2s, anything building on Ethereum could definitely see, a boost here in the short term. But I don't want to tell you what I think are good picks because, like I said, I'm not an altcoin professional or anything like that. So, yeah, do your own research. When's the ETF? We don't know yet. So a lot of people are predicting July 2nd is when it drops. So could be very soon. It could be later on. They like to delay these things. So sometime in July, August, September maybe. Sometime this summer. Yeah, I would say July, 2 weeks. I think. Yeah, I mean that's what people are predicting. Nothing confirmed though. Structurally mean also at November top is rolled out. I would say not necessarily, but maybe. So if we're assuming like it's an election season top, that's actually 2025. What am I doing? November. So this is where your top comes in. One of my things I was thinking about, like one of my theses would be a bear market rally into the election season. So if we were to top, let's just say worst case scenario. That's not necessarily worst case scenario, but we could see something like this. Worst case scenario is like this. So that could be a potential, but you're looking for a top there. So let's give that scenario as well. Let's say we hold this because we want to hold this. even in an upthrust after distribution, right? While maybe the top doesn't come in there. Just big distribution here for Bitcoin makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I still think, I mean, and you would still see a lot of altcoins make their highs during this time here. So something like this, yeah, certainly possible. I mean, we can make it out to November. That's not out of the question. We could also, I don't know. There's just so many possibilities. We got to take it day by day. I can't predict if we're going to have a top in November or where that top's going to land us. All I know is that more likely than not, on a fractal basis, we're one of two places. I talked about this in my last video. Structure's pretty similar. We could be here. So we wick up on the week, or I guess this is wicking up on a day, but probably be more on the week because of how much longer the cycle's taken. But yeah, you go ahead, do something like this, and then it's all over. You know, I think we'd make it up higher, probably something like that. But this is an area we are in the cycle, potentially. Where I think it is more likely is we're like in this area here. So, yeah, I mean, if you are thinking we're going to 50K, that's somewhat valid. I mean, you could say we're like here. Maybe we're here. We're going to go to 50K and then have a rally up, something like that. I don't know. Structurally, we do look more similar to this range, though, now. I had said here was a likely place we were in my videos, but I mean, this didn't break these lows, but it's just so hard to tell, right? History doesn't repeat, it rhymes. The structure is not the same. Here's probably where we are, honestly. I think this is your deviation of the range originally. As long as we can hold a higher low here, I think that's where we are in the cycle. Kind of rambled on there. That's not really what the question was about, but that's where I think we could be in the cycle. So we'll be watching for something like that. We want this low to hold. If this breaks, yikes. Don't want to see that broken. But at the same time, if that were to break, I still don't think it's time to panic, so. Altcoin season, potentially, right? Maybe. We don't know altcoin season is going to happen this time. This might have been it for altcoins, if it's anything like 2019. RWAs should do great. I think it's a good narrative. We'll see. Just depends if any of the projects actually get used in the real world. A lot of these real world asset projects are very, they're theoretically promising, but does anyone actually use them? I'm not too sure about that. Just came in. You think this is the bottom of the bottom of the bottom? Do I think it's the new low? Yeah, no, I've been calling lows throughout this because I was just, having hopium that we weren't going to break 64.5. I really didn't want structure to change. Clearly, we broke 64.5. This is why I was saying this is like your last line of support. Once we got under this, clear back test as resistance. This should have been a big warning sign. I was just praying we wouldn't do that. I thought, there's a lot of shorts in the market. We could probably flip this into support. I should have seen this coming. So, I'm not going to call any more lows. While I do think this is kind of our last line of support, and this should be our low locally, we should squeeze up here. I don't think the shorts are just going to get away with all these imbalances in the chart. We now have so many imbalances here. I mean, this is going to get retraced into at some point at a bare minimum. But could we go a little bit lower here? I mean, we do have some stuff to grab there. We got imbalances in the chart, still to kind of fill, but I think this this certainly could be your bottom. We'll see. This sweep right here I want to hold. We do have big buyers in the order books here. This is kind of like a market maker whale. He thinks he's controlling the market. He, you know, filled a bunch of walls and then just added on to this bottom wall. So we'll see if he can actually hold price. I'm sure he has a lot of money that he's throwing in at this level, hoping it will hold. A 1 week altcoin season would hurt. Yeah, it would. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if this can't hold, you have new buyers stepping in. Or like there's no support below us. I hope you guys realize, like, it's not structurally good, technically. But I'm not saying to panic sell. Definitely not. Like, Bitcoin dominance is fine. I know I'm sounding really bearish, but let's throw Bitcoin dominance up here on the right. Look at that. Look at Bitcoin dominance. Just tanking. I think we'll see at least a 2 week altcoin season. That's about how long the second half of the altcoin season lasted in 2021. I don't think people realize how fast altcoins go. Lasted about 20 days, actually. So I think 20 days is reasonable for an altcoin season. 20 to 50 has been my guess. So going off your East theme, Metis should be the top pick. Yeah, Metis is one of the plays I'm betting on. It does look pretty weak right now compared to some other stuff like Mog or something like that, but I think that could have a big pullback. That thing's just volatile. So, yeah, Metis. I like that play. Arbitrum and Optimism for sure. Any other suggestions? Well, I do like Metis more than Arbitrum and Optimism. They're essentially the same thing, same fundamentals, just lower market cap. So Metis DAO is a cool play I like, but once again, I'm not a professional on altcoins. I don't like. There's so many coins out there nowadays. It's impossible to just like research all of it, to wrap your head around it. I spend so much time with leverage trading that it's just like you can't fit that all in. Like there's just too much to understand when it comes to altcoins, and I can only do so much research. Every coin's going to take you dozens of hours to figure out if they're a good play or not. And at the end of the day, you can never really know. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any more questions. I want to try to stay on the stream until we get this filled. You know, see if we're going to sweep it again. But I am going to be ending this sooner rather than later. Let me see how many people we have watching in here. I haven't been checking that at all. 50 people. Let's go. Nice. Thank you guys all so much for supporting the channel. Started this about 3 months ago, and it has been growing steadily. Thank you all for 1,000 subscribers, and we're still going up with haste. We got like 1,100 subscribers now. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you are learning anything, you are enjoying the content. You know, this is some real interesting stuff that we're looking at that most people do not share on YouTube. Or, well, most people don't even know about. All of your retail traders or investors, that sort of thing, they don't use actual order flow software. A lot of them don't really know what they're doing. They're just looking at patterns, news events, that sort of thing. I'm certainly not your guy for news events. I just focus on the TA, the probabilities. That's all we can do here. Let me know if you guys have any more questions. Late to the show, got stopped out about 8 days ago. Looking for a new entry level now. What strategy do you suggest? If you look at my YouTube playlist, I do have a whole series on Bitcoin trading with some later videos talking specifically about my strategy, you could enter right now if you wanted. Your risk would be nothing. You have this wall below you. Your risk is 0.1% right now for an entry. Your risk is 0.1%. You take it up to the single prints. You see that risk to reward? It's crazy. But you're likely going to get stopped out of this position. This is a less than 50% chance setup right here. It's probably like a 30% win rate doing that. 886 doesn't always act as support, but you have a clear buyer here. And we swept $60,000. To confirm this, you'd want to get back above to be more confident. Candle closes on a 15-minute time frame, then you take a golden pocket of that. You want to see open interest decrease, like we're seeing over here on the right. That's something good. So we do see the open interest decreasing. Any CVD divs, RSI divs are kind of a must. Hourly time frames, the best for RSI, 15 5-minute candles for CVD divs. Definitely want some order flow software in your strategy. Fibonacci levels for mathematical entries. Always having your stop at a clear invalidation, which is the wick. Swing failure patterns are what I trade, and you always put your stop at the bottom of that swing failure pattern. Now, is this a swing failure pattern? No, absolutely not. You're just betting that it will be. And we got some poor lows forming right now, which is why it's not really probable you're going to get away with this. But yeah, as long as you have risk to reward and your percent's chance of winning in the correct spot, you'll be profitable over time. It's all about the trading mindset. Can you lose 10 trades in a row and win one trade, but your risk management is good enough to where that one trade you win makes up for all of the losses because they were mostly stopped out at entry or a very small loss? You always want to be getting stopped out at entry. Like I entered here. I'm probably about to get stopped out, but I'm getting stopped out at entry. So, yeah, that's what you always gotta. It's all about just risk to reward, trading mindset, not revenge trading, not getting emotional, that sort of thing. Go watch my trading series though. But yeah, strategies. Look up swing failure strategy. Look up, like CVD, RSI divergences. Go check out my playlist. Go watch Kimba, K1M6A. Best trader in the scene for sure. He doesn't have any tutorials or any paid courses, anything like that. He's just live every day on Twitch, and he's awesome. So that's some big alpha for anyone watching. Kimba TV. Alright, looks like this is getting filled. I'm now stopped out of my position. Let's see if this is going to hold, and then after we see what, plays out here, I'll go ahead and we'll end off the stream. Let's see, what is... So Binance is now shorting this. You can see, look at all of these seller imbalances in the wick. Will this turn into a failed auction, or are they going to be able to push down price? See here, CVD going down, open interest going up. They're shorting the lows. Binance, which you can't see right now, I'm looking at it on the right. They are closing out of long positions right now. So this is some decent order flow for entering a position. If you can create a failed auction, it's all about that failed auction when you got shorts opening. You cannot just see price continue down. You gotta see a reclaim and wait for candle closes. I don't like how weak these lows are. They're not terrible, right? It's better than if it were doing this. Doing this is structurally better because you're grabbing liquidity each time. But the wicks are pretty close. So it would be nice to just like whoosh, flush them out. Because I know there's a lot of people probably just adding on to losing positions right now and hoping for a reversal. Whoops. This is your sweep level. The fact that we're back under it is not a great setup for a long. But you could be front running it. Do we have any hourly bullish divergences to front run? We do. See? So trend of an hourly bull div. You could be front running this right now. But there's again, like you gotta wait for that flush. These lows are not great yet. You look at the 1 minute candle. I mean, look at this. I guess it's not terrible. You did pierce it, but it looks pretty weak. I want to see a big flush, big wick on the 1 minute candle to be confident in anything. This just looks like it's not finding any support quite yet, so we want to see that. 24 minute bull div, 30 minute bull div. You got bull divs on like all your time frames. Lost it on the 90, still have it on hourly. So yeah, either a big wick to the downside that flushes open interest on Binance, or just, you know, reclaim. If you can reclaim this, I'd be more comfortable along in that. But don't do what I say. I'm just talking about like scenarios so you can kind of learn. You know, just watch price play out here. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't already know this stuff, don't leverage anything I'm saying. Just watch it. Watch how it plays out. If it works out, then you know for next time, like, hey, that worked. You can study the strategy. If it doesn't, well, you know, that's why you be patient. That's why you don't just, you know, FOMO in on every dip. The only reason I took this was because I knew there would be at least somewhat of a bounce into all these walls. The fact that we came back down and tested it again is why I put my stop at entry. I knew this was going to fail on a secondary test, like it has. But we don't know how much money he has. He could just keep absorbing these sellers and push price back up above his entries. Probably stay on here for 7 more minutes. We'll go till 1 p.m. my time. See if we can get a reclaim of anything. Is there any support below us? Let's see. Let's pull some fixed ranges. That could be a sweep level too. Sweep and volume. This could also be a sweep level here. It's quite a bit lower down though. I don't want to see us get down there. Let's just get back above 60. I think that's probably the move. We're just filling more of these imbalances. If we go to levels. Also, I got Bitcoin dominance. You see Bitcoin dominance continue to fall, so that's good. Let's see what the S&P and dollar are doing. Looks like S&P is going to go try to sweep this. Oops. So we'll see if we can have that play out here. If S&P and Bitcoin sweep at the same time, that would be pretty magical. Level identifier. What is this telling us? Week just opened, so I don't really care about this value area low. There we go. This is your cascading liquidations. See, this is that, you know, flush I was talking about. Failed auction at the bottom of the flush. Lots of shorts being opened in here. It's getting absorbed. If we can reclaim this, we'll see what happens. Don't want to jump the gun quite yet. We do have a clear rejection on the sweep level, but failed auction. Nice wick. Did we hit any levels? Let's go look at this. Okay, so you see our we had a fair value gap here. Did this disappear? Did we not have one? Maybe we didn't have one. Yeah, so still just a deviation play. We want to get back above. There's not too much support here until we get down to like that 58.8. Look at that wick. Yeah, you see buyers stepping in here, pushing up price. Spoof walls. Let's go to the 1 minute here. What is our order flow saying on a 1 minute? Seller imbalances. Accepting above. BingX, if you know, you know. Let's see how it plays out. I'm not actually doing anything here, but I just want to watch it to see how it plays out. See what Bybit's doing. Bybit's going for those longs now. Cool. Massive delta getting absorbed in here. Is that golden pocket gonna hold or not? Let's see. Let's see if this seller stays in the order books. This is something I'll be watching. Let's see if we can absorb all of these shorts that are being opened here on Binance into the sell wall. We have been sweeping the sweep consistently. That's why I'm not taking anything here. I want to let price play out at this point. I want to let you know, higher highs play out, and then I'll take, you know, golden pocket retracement or something like that. Or if I just see like a mega wick with tons of imbalances, that'd be a clear invalidation. Yeah, see, that's an unfinished auction, so nothing yet. All right, oh well, he's adding on 550 Bitcoin buy wall. Just got tapped. Whew, Bybit just went crazy. Open interest shot up. That could be it. Reclaim of it. This. Now you have structural swing failure. Failed auction into buy walls. Structural swing failure on the small 1 minute time frame. Bybit going crazy with long positions. We know they're normally right. We now see Binance opening long positions. Well, folks, we might have just seen the low. With asterisks. I'm not saying to FOMO long here, but, you know, if you know what you're doing. Do we have, the chat have any more questions before I sign off here? Swing failure pattern did not work here. Oh yeah, no. This is a 1 minute swing failure pattern. No one cares about a 1 minute swing failure. 30 minutes what matters. I mean, we still got. I mean, this is the sweep of the sweep. So I want to reclaim this, and then this is the big swing failures. 60,100. We need to get above this. I want to see a higher high here. But bink, enter. Theoretically. Or you could front run it. Enter. Take it up. Bet on it. Flip in. I do like the sell imbalances at the bottom of the wick. Buy imbalances, continuation. Buy bit going big long here. But it looks like we did have some single prints to the upside, so it could just be a single print grab and then rotation back down. I don't know. It's pretty hard to go off of this price action. Like, we haven't made any higher highs. While I do think this is technically solid for a low, so was this, so was this. Like, I've been stopped out a couple times, 3 times now actually, twice at entry, trying to long this. So at this point, I'm just waiting for a higher high. I'm gonna wait for more confluence. Please don't leave. Well, I will be uploading a video, so you'll have me for that. I do got to get to recording that though. I got to take a little bit of a break in between too, so I'll probably be signing off here pretty much now. Thank you all so much for checking out the stream though, and I'll leave you off with some things to watch out for on the chart. So first things first, there's no need to panic sell, because we still have buyers looking to scoop up long positions. Lots of whales are expecting this to be your low. They're trying to front run entries. We do have all those bullish divergences like I talked about. Let me go back to, so the levels chart, not much edge, but on our edge identifier, we do have some decent edge, right? Bunch of hourly bull divs, 30-minute bull divs, 24-minute, some good stuff there, as well as on the daily time frame. We have that hidden bullish divergence. This is a big indicator that is very bullish, and is why if we go below this previous wick, I mean, you're going to lose that daily hidden bull div, and that's not going to look good. So we do want to hold here. You can see this is kind of our next level, 58.8 volume and sweep. So, you know, we could pop up and then, you know, sweep that again, something like that. I do think we're near the lows, and we still have that gap on CME to the upside, so that's where I'm looking to target for Bitcoin. Like, no matter what, I think we're going to get up there. And then Bitcoin dominance continues to just fall. It's a falling knife right now. So altcoins are holding up better than Bitcoin, signaling an altcoin season likely happens here. So we'll be watching the Bitcoin dominance. I'll cover all this stuff in my YouTube videos, so make sure to be looking out for that. I should be posting that in around 2 hours from now. It takes me, 30 minutes to record, 30, 45 minutes to edit it. Actually longer than that a lot of times too. It actually takes a lot of time to edit videos. Gotta like cut out me breathing and all that good stuff. I definitely can't do my videos in one cut. But yeah, let's see what happens here on price. I think the low might be in, like we were talking about. Like this was pretty proper. Let's see what happens. On our 1 minute candles, we are coming down to that golden pocket. So if you're really wanting to just look on 1 minute candles right now because you're freaking out, watch for this golden pocket. Let's see if we can hold this. If not, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, this is the most bullish scenarios, that we hold this golden pocket, get back above 60,100, and then that should be your low locally for at least a nice retracement, potentially all-time highs where we do squeeze up, grab that liquidity at $75,000. And during that, going into your Ethereum ETF, we should see altcoin season, at least hopefully we will, but just know we do have market structure change, so stay vigilant in the markets as always. And with that being said, let me check for any last questions or anything like that. Nope, we don't have anything in the chat, so yeah, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to join the Discord if you do have any questions or just want to join the community for this channel. And make sure to be looking out for that video that I will be dropping later today. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for sticking around. Good luck on your altcoins, all of that good stuff. Good luck on your positions. And hopefully you're having a good day, because like we're at a buying opportunity and Bitcoin dominance is dumping. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Bye.